Yeah, man, I don't even want to talk about it. I don't. And I'm sorry, Jeremy. I really, it's just, it's a real sore spot. And it's, I told the team, I take full responsibility for that. I do. You know, and players did exactly what we told them to do. Goff did exactly what we told them to do. David did, and I will take that. Got to be, you know, you got to make it very clear on where you are. And I did not do that. And I told him I take responsibility for that.
Dan Campbell talking about the trick play that would have been the first touchdown for the Lions on Sunday night, opening drive of the game, right down the field. Jared Goff goes in motion, fails to stop for a second. We found the rule on Monday as we were talking through exactly what it was that transpired. And the most interesting postscript to that, Tony Dungy, Hall of Fame head coach on Peacock's Sunday Night Football Final, said he was at practice and saw them rep that play. And he said, he's got to stop. Well, maybe they've changed that rule since I retired.
Right.
And he just
Right. And we weren't sure, you know, about the whole process of moving away from the center, too, where he could have stopped there as well. He could have declared himself, step back from the center like you see a tight end step off the ball and then go in motion, and that would have been okay, too. So it had to be one or the other. Either stop there where you're going to catch the ball, or you declare yourself, wait, I'm no longer the quarterback underneath the center. I'm backing off and then moving. It has to be one of the two. But the point of this and all of that is this is why Dan Campbell has the Lions eating out of his hands. This is why Dan Campbell is one of the best coaches in football. The communication, the way he treats the media, the way he can talk to them, be so forthcoming and forthright with everything there, and speak it real. And then also to his locker room who's listening, and his ability to go, hey, I told them to do this. This was my fault, all of that. I mean, that's what makes players play for a coach. That really does. And that's where Dan Campbell is got the greatest touch of all right now in the NFL at winning press conferences for not only the fan base, but for his team in the locker room. I mean, he almost says the exact right thing every freaking time.
And, Chris, beyond the message it sends to the players, beyond the right touch that he has with the media, he covered for John Morton.
Yeah,
because if anybody on the coaching staff should have known that you can't do that, it's the guy who's designing the plays. Hey, got an idea. Here's what we're going to do. Okay, well, yes, Dan Campbell should know the rules.
Yeah, that's right. Right.
He got bad information from his lieutenant. His lieutenant didn't know the rule. His lieutenant didn't realize we can't. And that's one of those things where I think, Chris, as you design it, you should instinctively know something's not right here. Right. And Coach Dungy, when we were texting about this on Monday, he mentioned the Philly special. Go back and watch it. You know what Nick Foles does? He stops right before the snap. Right. He doesn't just stray out and then they snap the ball as he's moving. He stopped at the edge of the line and then they snapped the ball because he went up under center from shotgun formation in that play that helped deliver the Super Bowl win in 52 for the Eagles. So yeah, it's just one of those, like, if you're on your stuff, and we all have comparables that we could think of in whatever industry you're in. You have an idea and it seems like a great idea, and then you have to run that great idea through all the bad outcomes filters. What could impair this idea? What could make this idea I have not such a great idea? What is it is there something out there? And that's where your brain has to do the AI thing, and you got to be scanning and thinking, and you got to, and they missed it. They missed it. That little thing that should have been flashing inside John Morton didn't flash. And it didn't flash for Dan Campbell either. And I think his takeaway from this, and he's not going to say this out loud, I got to check John Morton's work a little bit better when he comes to me with one of these plays. I didn't have to do it with Ben Johnson. I got to do it with John Morton. I got to make sure that these ideas all comply with the rules.
Right,
and it's
right.
on me as the coach to do that.
That's right. At the end of the day, it's on him. He sat there and watched them execute it at practice like Tony Dungy and saw it and go, So yeah, I think sometimes things like that can get a little lost in translation when you're always pushing the envelope. Hey, let's do this. Let's do that. Let's try this new play, all of that. And every now and then you need to go, wait, let's just make sure we got the rules of this exactly the right way. And, I think there's probably a part of him that was like me and Jason Garrett where there was the thought of like, wait, if you don't put your hands underneath the center, I thought you were okay. And I think there was a thought like that out in the NFL with a lot of people. So I think it's probably a learning experience for a lot of coaches out there.
We found it on the air.
Right.
We found it in the rule book.
Right.
5 minutes. So if that's the thing, if you have that flicker, you don't just brush it off and say it'll be fine. You got to have somebody on the staff. You can say, hey, Bill, check to see if what we're doing here is okay. Check the rules on illegal motion for a quarterback, T formation, shotgun formation. I think there's something in the rule book about that. Can you find that? We need to make sure we're designing this play the right way. That's how the sausage gets made when you're coming up with these ideas.
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed.
A little flaw there.
That was a big play.
That's the big takeaway. There's a little flaw there in the Lions' process.
Right. Well, yeah. I hear you there. Hey, they push forward. It's pedal to the metal, and sometimes that's what happens a little.
We saw it with the Dan Skipper thing. Now they tried to get away with one there.
Right.
I don't think they were trying to get away with one here, unless the truth is that is on me because.
Yeah, I thought
they wouldn't notice.
Right.
Maybe that's the truth. Maybe they're next level. Maybe they knew damn well, and they thought they'd get away with it.
Yeah, I don't get the feeling on this one just with that reaction, but I do agree with you. The other one, they tried to get over and against the spirit of the rules a little bit on the NFL and the Dallas Cowboys in that one. But yeah, again, I'm sure he's beat up about that play because that is a big play in the game, and also you add that on top of, like, let's not forget, they lost this game, but they had the ball 10-6 about the 4-10. They're up 10-6. They're around the 42-yard line going in, and Amon-Ra St. Brown dropped the ball that he catches 99 of it 100 times. So he's looking at that going, man, there's little things here where we could have won that game. Yeah, the Chiefs were chippy. They were as chippy as we were, and usually nobody's as chippy as we are. But it was a desperate game, and the Chiefs got some guys, and the way they lost to the Jaguars, and with that guy leading the team, number 15, they can get real chippy as a football team in a hurry. And they answered the bell as far as physicality with the Detroit Lions and did some things there, and that's where I think Dan Campbell's like, man, that was a game where one or two plays really changed the whole flow of the football game, and I'm sure he's beating himself up about it a little bit.
One thing that I don't want to get lost in that weird play that drew the flag, and I think we talked about this Monday, but just to emphasize, it did seem a little fishy as to how, after discussion, it was to be a penalty, because it just makes me think somebody's talking in that pipeline.
Definitely. Come on.
When they're not supposed to be. I don't think that is the kind of thing that is subject to replay assist. And I never know because they change it all the time. And I'm a proponent of do whatever you can to help the officials on the field. I don't care.
Yeah.
Use as long as they're right. As long as they're right. Like, if they're wrong, then that's a problem. But if they're right and you fix it, that's fine. So if they did use it, I got no problem with it because they got it right and they applied the rule properly.
It seems like they did. And, maybe that rule was so little known that we know that the freaking refs didn't even know it either. And they had to wait for Walt Anderson to get in their ear to tell about it because it's one of those things that you just don't see much in football.
Well, good for Walt Anderson if that's what he did.
Yeah, good for him.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.